YAM podcast. My name is Nahal. We are at our final episode 15 of the YAM podcast. And this one is a special one because you can also come and see me on YouTube for this one. What? This is both a video and audio production. So if you are listening to me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or on YouTube, hey, now you can see my face. And the reason for this is I am prepping you for season 2, guys. Stop it. Season 2 is all going to be with video and audio, so you can listen to both, either or. I always love to watch the videos of interviews because these micro expressions and stuff like that, I'm like, there's so much that I can tell that I'm like, oh my God, that person thought that and they saw this and oh my God. And not that I want to draw your attention to our micro expressions, but I don't know, if you were kind of like me and you enjoyed more of the watching people talk sort of situation more than listening, even though I know the whole listening aspect is actually mostly for our mamas, because when they're breastfeeding and stuff like that, I know you're probably listening to me in the dark, which I love, and holla at you. I hope I make your breastfeeding sessions a little better, or your cleaning sessions, or whenever you're listening to the podcast. Anyways, we appreciate you and we love you, and we just appreciate you. We just want to let you know how much we appreciate you listening to the YAM podcast. And for those who give us feedback, we love it. We love it when you give us feedback. We love it when you tell us which episodes are your favorite, what resonated with you, what not. Please also leave us a review on the Apple iTunes. Like, we would love to get more feedback from people of like how you've liked the season so far. So for this episode, I really wanted to actually dive into what the Mama Comfort Toolkit is. I've actually mentioned this several times, but I've actually never gone into what is actually in the toolkit. And I thought I would take this session to kind of go through each of the different tools and kind of like how we came about it. So it's kind of almost like sharing a little insight into how we finalized the 7 tools used in the final version of the Mama Comfort Toolkit, and kind of like little informations about like how we even came about to choose these ones rather than other ones. So whether or not you actually have the Mama Comfort Toolkit right now, or you haven't purchased the Mama Comfort Toolkit yet, this episode is kind of like there's something for everyone in there, because you get to kind of hear the backstory and like what's in it and all these things. And so I really wanted to like take some time to share with you and to be like, what's in it? What's in it, guys? After interviewing 31 women in 12 countries and 25 cities, what are the things that we kind of came up with in the interviews? I feel like that's like something super interesting to like dive deep. I mean, it was personally really interesting when I was doing the interviews. And so just to get a glance at the world, to be like, what are all the moms doing and thinking about, you know? So the first thing that I do in the Mama Comfort Toolkit is I actually explain how I would like you to use it. So there's like about a 10-minute video where I explain like what each of the practices are, in what combinations you should use them, in what circumstances it would be best used, and when to prioritize it and when to practice other ones a bit more. So the first practice is a morning breath practice, and I guide people through a series of exercises. The morning breath practice is about 4 minutes and 55 seconds long. And the breath practice that I teach in it, it's really there to balance the left and right side of the brain. So the benefits are like really amazing. So a lot of the moms were describing to me that they wake up tired, obviously, or that their husbands go and bring their babies to the bed, mama's still sleeping, and like baby needing to feed, and they're kind of like tired and not woken up yet. So the second practice is about 5 minutes and 10 seconds long, and it's about an affirmation in the form of I. So meaning that these are sentences that I've come up with. Also, a lot of the suggestions actually were from the mamas directly, or maybe even practices that they already did. And I was like, what do you say to yourself? And they shared with me some of their affirmations that they say on a daily basis that keeps them centered. So I included some of those and included a lot more as well. And so the second item on the Mama Comfort Toolkit is an affirmation. So for you to say it like every day in the form of I. So I am lovable. I am rich. I am abundant. I don't think any of those are actually in this toolkit. I forget which ones are, but they are said in the form of I. And then for the third item, I did it in the form of you affirmations, meaning like you are so beautiful. So it's kind of like I'm telling you what I believe you are. And really these affirmations come from like all the conversations that I've been having and the things that I know that you're doing. And it's almost like I want to call it like mom porn. It's like you listening to like Nahal tell you all these good things, like you are so amazing. And honestly, this is literally what it would be like to have a session with me. It's like mostly I would like pump you up and like make you feel empowered and all these things. So it's really just like a 5 minute, actually the You Mama one is 6 minutes for you to be able to kind of like pump yourself up. And oh my God, so many moms like said that Nahal, when you said this one sentence, one of the sentences was, I think you're such a good mother. I want to be just like you. They like died and swooned away. And they were like, oh my God, Nahal, stop it. When you say things like this, like it really makes me feel like such a difference, or like breaks down. And they told me that some of them broke down and cried, which I find like lovely in the sense that like I want all your hearts to be opened. If hearing something like that being said to you, which I truly believe is true, then yeah, let it soak you up. Let it penetrate into your heart vessel and just kind of feel it and take it. Just this morning, actually, somebody was like trying to give love to me and I was like feeling resistant. I was like trying to reject it. And like, as soon as I just like allowed myself to kind of soften, and like it hit me so hard in the heart. I was like, oh my God, this is so much love. It's great and fantastic. Really hard to receive if you're not usually in the response of like receiving, but so wonderful when you actually learn to soften. So this third item, the You Mama affirmations, is really for you to kind of receive from me the wonder that I think you are as a mom. And so that usually helps to uplift women. And so at night, there's an evening practice that I also created to wind down, especially in a day you're going to be dealing with like several SOS situations. A lot of the moms were like, my nervous system is fried. So that's why I also had several breath practices in there. There were several moms that also shared with me their attitudes towards their own physical bodies, the changes that they went through, and their sadness or their fear or their just rejection of themselves when they look at themselves in the mirror. And I really wanted to, and by focusing on breathing, you really kind of connect back with your body. So I really wanted to bring women back into their physical bodies and really kind of connect with their physical bodies in like a very deep and meaningful way. Breath is super huge and super beneficial at Yoga Avec Moi. It's like an absolute priority. We even have a 12-week Pure Breath program. And a little side note here is that we're actually relaunching the Pure Breath program. And we're actually renaming it as the Single Breath program, because we're kind of adding in the themes of the 7 valleys and the yoga chakra systems to really add that component of spiritual propulsion to it. So if you would actually like to join us, the early bird ends on January 4th, but the program starts from January 9th to April 30th. So if anyone would like to join us, you are absolutely welcome. I will leave details of the program in the blog. So moving on, it's the Mama Yoga Nidra, which this is literally the bread, rice, and butter of mom's practices, really. So the Yoga Nidra is probably the single most thing that I've found is a hack to the realities of motherhood, which is tiredness. Like one of the things that when I was starting my search of like just like motherhood, a lot of moms were just disgruntled and unhappy and just upset at life because they were so tired. And so tiredness was really something like an occupational hazard of being a mother. And so Yoga Nidra is kind of like a hack to the system in the sense that 20 minutes of deep systematic rest and relaxation equals to about 2 to 3 hours of sleep. I imagine that when I become a mother, I would literally begin doing this several times a day. Even right now, without children, I do this practice several times in a day. Whenever I'm having like full on an hour session with anyone, I always do a 20-minute yoga nidra to replenish myself, or after a workout to make sure that my entire nervous system calms down and relaxes. I always do a yoga nidra. And just to let you guys know, Yoga Avec Moi actually has yoga nidras in 22 languages, literally, on the Bicentenary Meditation Project on our YouTube channel. There is a playlist. If you just type in Bicentenary Meditation Project, Spanish meditations or Russian meditations, or just try Uzbek meditations, we have it in 22 languages. And this is the one that I really wanted to make sure that the global world had, because we were wrapping up the Bicentenary Meditation Project during the entire pandemic years. So that I wanted a meditation that was going to be applicable to everyone. And everyone seemed to be needing rest. If you recall the beginning parts of the pandemic, there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of people were just experiencing exhaustion because they were just overthinking, and all of their mental faculties were just used to think about how to survive, and it would drain the physical body. So a lot of people were just completely physically plastered. So the yoga nidras were really made so that everyone can deeply rest. So this is not only for moms, but in the Mama Comfort Toolkit, this particular yoga nidra is specifically made with the thought process of mothers in mind. But if you go on our YouTube channel, you will see 22 languages of free meditations. Like, there are some of the meditations, we didn't translate all the different types of meditations, but we made sure that if we did translate one meditation, it was going to be a yoga nidra. So this is how important it is. And this is also by far, when I do a physical yoga class, I always end with a yoga nidra practice. This is where yoga therapy is a little different than yoga in general. Like in yoga in general, you do like a 5-minute shavasana, and usually that's people's favorite thing. But in integrative yoga therapy, we do it for like about a half hour, and people literally transform from like a caterpillar to a butterfly. So it's like a huge transformation, nervous system transformation. After that half an hour, they literally zoom out of their bodies and then come back. And just that little slight separation, but it's actually a complete withdrawal of the senses that is really happening here. And then you kind of come back. So like people who are experiencing pain, physical pain in their body, they do a yoga nidra, you usually will not feel pain throughout the duration of the practice, depending on how much you relax and allow and surrender into it. And then after you finish it, you'll start slowly kind of like feeling back the sensations of your body, but just that temporary relief of physical pain wherever you're experiencing, especially chronic pain, which mamas usually do in their neck region and hip region because they're sitting down and breastfeeding for long periods of time and usually in an awkward position. Also, if they're lying down. So this is really the bread and butter. So this is also to remind the mamas who already have the toolkit to practice it daily. Okay. Eat it like rice. Okay. Eat this meditation like you would a bowl of rice. I know that's like a really Chinese example here, but literally I want you to eat it. I want you to eat the yoga nidra like as if it is something that your life depends on, which literally it will rejuvenate all of your senses so much. Like, why not? Why would you not do it, right? So the last two practices, 6 and 7, are physical yoga postures, because a lot of mamas were telling me the physical pain that they were in from breastfeeding. So one of the physical postures is a 20-minute practice on head, neck, and shoulders. So for your upper region of your body for when you're breastfeeding. And the second is the hip region, is like about 40 minutes long. So it's a long time for a mama usually to practice. So I kind of split them up. But if you had a little bit more time, like an hour, which is ideal, a full-on integrative yoga therapy session is an hour and a half. So you could do the head, neck, and shoulder practice and the hip practice, and then end with a yoga nidra. So you kind of, within the Mama Comfort Toolkit, have also, if you combine them together, you have like a full-on integrative yoga therapy session. And I literally put in my best work in there. So, and we kind of fine-tuned it several times and recorded it several times because we got some feedback and like we changed it up a little bit. So it's really in a condition where I'm super proud of it. And I feel really great sharing it with everyone. And we also, of course, have a couple bonuses of things and meditations that I think would be super helpful. One of the aspects of things is a lot of the moms wanted some mental exercises and practices to do, like reflections of like what they can focus their attention on and like a systematic way of reflecting. And we have a major document there where people can focus on different layers of the body in integrative yoga therapy and just like really be systematic with each layer of health and to kind of like see how it works there. So yeah, that is the Mama Comfort Toolkit. It is only $15 US. It's 100 RMB. It's super affordable and cheap. I did not want to make this product that was super expensive, even though literally a scientific research of interviewing 31 women in 12 countries and 25 cities happened in it. I realized that the only reason why I like aimed for 30 people is literally because of my science background. And I know that you need at least 30 people in a study in order to collect right amount of data for it to yield a result. People say the same thing over and over again so that you make sure that you're capturing everyone's thoughts, right? But logistically speaking, doing 30 interviews took a lot longer than I had anticipated, which is great for when I do my future PhD. Like I will know that if I need to be interviewing like 30 to 50 people, then I will have a reasonable time frame of how much time is actually going to take me to do that. So the purpose of me sharing this is really to say that to condense 30 interviews, which was amazing, deep, and very thorough shares into 7 major products, like 7 digital tools, is literally like the basics of what each mom can practice on a daily basis to ensure their own happiness. For me, it's like, I just want to see you thrive. I don't want to see you in survival mode in your mothering. That's something that I will not be willing to handle when I become a mother. And it's not something that I wish for anyone else. And the reason why I'm even at this point where I'm sharing this with everyone is that I just want to prevent this whole concept or this whole idea or this norm that we need to mother through disgruntlement. I refuse to accept that as a reality for myself. But the reality of actually pulling yourself out from the actual hazards of motherhood, which is being tired and being dissatisfied and losing your identity, all of these things require daily practices, little minute practices, not very long. As you can see, I made sure that the time frame is really short. It was a huge challenge for Nahal because I love to drag things out. Like my workshops are 3 hours long. Like my programs are 3 months long. Like I'm a lot more thorough, but I know that mothers do not have the time for that because they're caring for other young. So it was a struggle for me, but it is literally the backbone of things. So this is the absolute basics to keep yourself afloat and joyful and happy and thriving on a daily basis. So it's not only the Mama Comfort Toolkit, it's the Mama Daily Comfort Toolkit. So these are daily practices that I would like mothers to do every single day. So this is a reminder for those who do already have the Mama Comfort Toolkit. Please, 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 please go and practice it. Go and derive the benefits from these practices, because not only did a lot of work go into it, but it's like something that I really, truly have faith in, that if you were to do these 7 daily practices, you will literally not feel like motherhood is a burden. That's like my ultimate goal, is that you actually enjoy your children when they're young and cute and like fuzzy and all these things, and like be able to have a wonderful relationship with your partner and not always feel like you're the one tired, not feeling supported. Because once you're rejuvenated, then you realize, like, all right, am I actually communicating things properly to my lover? Like, if they're not doing something, which is also another thing that a lot of mothers shared with me. I cannot tell you like how many amazing, my intuition just led me to be like, interview 30 women. And I was like, what? What? It was like such a random thing for me to do after coming from doing the bicentenary meditation project, that I was like, this is what you want me to focus on? But after I did the Mama Comfort Toolkit, not only did it yield this very podcast itself, did it yield the actual product which we were trying to create, which was the Mama Comfort Toolkit, but it's very likely in the future, I don't know how near future, is that I'll be creating products for wives and their husbands to bond and connect more, and also for mothers and their children to like bond more. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of the future, but this is definitely, there's so much material from the interviews that I could use it in so many different ways. Definitely creating those two products. I would love to get it out to you guys. One other thing that I was like thinking about was actually doing like a 10 series on YouTube and going very deep into like what are some of the things that the women shared with me anonymously, of course, on YouTube, and like the themes of like, and then also sharing what I would recommend, because even though in that moment I shared it with certain women, like what to do when I was on the interview and the call with them, but I think that a lot of other women would be able to benefit from that same advice if I were to share it in like a more public way. So I'm hoping that that can happen, but now that the single breath program is going to be the main focus for the coming year, I don't really know how that is, but it's definitely something in the back of my mind. So if you pressure me and just let me know that this is definitely something that you're interested in, it will be likely something that I will have to be forced to create. I'll be like, the audience is asking for it. What am I going to do? But yes, the single breath program I did want to mention is actually last year in 2021, April, it was accepted by the University of Australia to do research in it, but I didn't end up getting the funding twice in 2 years in a row. I didn't get the scholarship. And so this year, what I'm really doing is I'm kind of changing up the Pure Breath program, naming it the Single Breath program, one, and also adding in the 7 valleys and chakra systems so that in hopefully a year or 2 years time, when I'm doing actual scientific research on it, that it would be something that would really be a very refined program with all the spiritual things that I would like to be in it, and then scientific research to be conducted on it. So for the women who do have the Mama Comfort Toolkit and you guys love the breathing practices, this is definitely going to be an amazing program for you. If you like the short breathing practices, then the single breath program is really going to teach you a lot more tools and go into themes that I know you guys will enjoy so much. So I really hope you guys join us. And this is actually for the rest of the audience and everyone listening. The single breath program is probably going to be my absolute life's work for the rest of my life, doing a PhD and probably teaching this to different governments and nations and going to resource poor places that they can't afford medicine to teach them this breath program, hopefully for free once I've established myself in certain governments where I would not need to think about money myself, but that I could just provide this program for free to people is literally my aim. So if there's anyone that you know that would be interested in a program like this, please do send it to them. I will link in the blog post the backstory of the 7 valleys, a little inspiration story that I think everyone should listen to in the new year. Happy New Year, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, Happy New Year to you all. And this is kind of like one of the gifts that I just want to offer to the world for this new year, is to start the new year right. Like, in my opinion, with our nervous systems all aligned and kind of like just really gentle and soft and smooth, because I really think that this life is short, and for us to live a life of quality, of love, of depth is something that is like super important. And I just want to make sure that everyone is living their best life. And the first thing I know to correct is your nervous system. Once your nervous system is in its right jam, then receiving any input from the rest of the world is a piece of cake. And then you come back to your practice, you reset it again. So that's my offering for you for this new year. Happy New Year to you. Of course, in every podcast episode, we have the link to the Mama Comfort Toolkit. So if that's something that you're interested in purchasing, please do buy it. Buy it for your friends. Buy it for a gift. Buy it. Just share it everywhere that you know. It's only $15. It's like super affordable. And yeah, that is a wrap for season 1, guys. We're going to see you probably after Chinese New Year for season 2. We have a lot of guests lined up for you, and we're super excited to share those episodes with you. We very much look forward to doing it. I'll probably just give you a little teaser now. Stop it. That season 2, it's gonna be a little different. As I said, we're gonna have the video component, so you can watch us now instead of just listen to us. We needed some time to get the video kinks together. Now that we have that sorted, what I wanted to share was that actually for season 2, what we're gonna have is one mother and one expert. So each episode is going to be kind of like interviewing one mom and then interviewing one expert and then interviewing one mom and then interviewing one expert. So it's like you guys kind of get like a good mix of real life experience and also advice on how you can improve your mothering jam. So hopefully that's like a new change that will be super beneficial for everyone. A lot of the moms have been telling me that they've been really resonating with people who have shared their personal experiences, and they've mentioned some of the episode names to me. And I was like, yeah, we need to get more moms here to share authentically, because that's literally what everyone resonates with. Obviously, on this podcast, we are a podcast for mamas. So we love you. We love you for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've been with us this entire season, we doubly, triply love you. And we hope that you will like season 2. Please come on Apple Podcasts specifically to leave us a review. On any of the YouTube videos, if you leave us a comment down below, we always love it. And please, please, please do share with other people. Any episode that you found useful, that you found moving, that you think someone else needs to listen to, just share away. Share away. The love, the universal love from the heart chakra, the YAM sound needs to be shared with all. We've also been getting feedback that a lot of the men, young men, unmarried men listening to the YAM podcast are being inspired by women and their experiences, and they're being like, oh my God, I didn't know that women were so strong, or like how amazing they are in their experiences. And so the young men have been learning a lot as well. And I'm like, I can't wait for them to find mates and then support their wives and their mothering. Like, oh my gosh, what are we doing to the world, guys, in this YAM podcast? Stop it. Everyone listening, everyone participating, everyone who has come as a guest on the YAM podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the listeners, and a happy new year to all. And we will see you after the Chinese